good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Operation Heal 100 Heart Channel, where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topic. Listen, y'all some nosy motherfuckers just like me, so let's get into this dear DJ, but y'all know the drill. Before we get into it, please hit the thumbs up on the video. Please like the video. Please hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you can get all of my motherfucking videos when they drop. Okay, let's get into it. Dear DJ, before I begin, let me give my disclaimer. I'm writing this letter from the most compassionate place in my soul, so I can find, just so you know, a nigga has no ill will or malice behind what I'm about to say. My girl and I have a 2-year-old son. My girl had a son when I met her as well. When I met the young bull, he was 14 and banging. He was cutting school, cripping, smoking, and everything else young hood niggas do. As soon as I arrived on the scene, I peeped that my girl worshipped her son, as she should, so when it came to him, I stayed out the way. His pops was unalive, and my girl was his mom, dad, the grandparents, the godparents, the teacher, the mentor, the judge, the jury, and everyone else he encountered in his life. To shorten this shit up, gangbanging got my boy whacked last year. Oh no. This shit was crazy how it happened. And of course it broke his mother in ways not even my son and I would be able to help her heal. My girl has cried literally every day since losing her oldest son. My heart truly hurts for her because I know how much her son meant to her. Should I know what our son means to me? Which is why I'm writing this letter. The day my girl's son passed away, spiritually and mentally, she did too. She doesn't work, she barely eats or sleeps, and more importantly, she has completely checked out of co-parenting and caring for the son that we share. For the last 8 or 9 months, it's been me, my mom, and my sister caring for baby boy. To be honest, I don't know if the romantic relationship can continue because that's the last thing on baby girl's mind, but I don't think she can return to co-parenting DJ either. I feel bad because I don't want to take her only living child away from her, knowing what she's going through. But because she's dead on the inside, she's not parenting anyway. And I cannot let my son's safety or well-being be at jeopardy while she's grieving. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I'm also aware that I have to do what's best for our son, especially since at the moment she can't. How you think a nigga should maneuver this situation? I need your help. Signed, I have to leave and let her grieve. Wow. Wow. Let me take a sip of my drink. Oh my God. First of all, my condolences, my condolences to the family, my condolences to you for your stepson, my condolences to your baby for his big brother, my condolences to the mom. My condolences to the mom. My God. You know, lately I've been thinking this, and I know it's a really, really weird thought to have, but I do, right? And I say, I wonder how God chooses who's strong enough. You know? I wonder how God chooses who's strong enough because I imagine that there are parents, not I imagine, I know because I've seen it, parents who stand up tall, freaking start foundations, go on rallies, participate with organizations to prevent like I know parents who really get in the thick of the fight and stand up tall and honor their young person so publicly and I don't want to say emotionless, but you don't see them in like a state of emotional turmoil because they're so busy advocating for their child's memory and so on and so forth. And then I can imagine that there's other parents who, like your girl, struggles to get out the bed every day because I have lost one, if not the only reason to live, my child. Right? So I always wonder how God chooses who would be strong enough to bear that burden. Right? This letter, this letter is going to be a little hard for me because I don't know. I have some feelings about I have some feelings about it, right? One, and this is just me being transparent, right? While I do understand that the young man was not yours, as you approach the situation, you can see some error in his ways, and you didn't really too much, it sounds like, attach yourself to the young person, just because of the whole setup, right? And am I saying that that's a right or wrong thing? Absolutely not. I can't say. I don't know how deep you guys were and you didn't say it. I don't know how disconnected you guys were and you didn't say it. I'm just going off of what it felt like reading your letter. It felt like you were pretty much detached from your girl's older son. It kind of feels like I know who he was. I know what he was to his mom. I know that I'm here with his mom. I know that he's her son. I know what he's into. But I didn't get from your letter that you really connected with the young man. Right? And I think that because a little bit, and again, I could be wrong, I'm only going off of the letter, not any more context about the situation. And I think a little bit because it sounds like you were kind of detached. I get the feeling, and I could be wrong, right? And you guys drop down in the comment section and tell me if you kind of got this feeling as well, or if you think I might be reading too much into it. It comes across a little insensitive from the letter. So it sounds like, listen, old girl had a son. Her son was into the streets. This is pretty much what happens when you into the streets. I'm sorry that it had to happen. I wish things turned out different. But now me and you got a baby together, and we got to do what we got to do. And while that is not a far-fetched way to look at the situation, if I'm just being honest, it sounds like a very insensitive way to look at it. And I think that if it sounds insensitive, then it might be being handled in that same manner. Right? This situation is not so cut and dry. Right? I wish it was like, listen, this is what happens, but you got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, yada, yada, yada. I need you to understand for this mom that mentally she could be very well feeling like her life is over. Again, I don't know mom. I haven't heard from mom. So I can't say. I'm just going off your letter. And I'm trying to give you some context and some insight on what she could be feeling, so maybe you can navigate this in a way that doesn't break her completely. Right? Because she might very well feel like her life is over. And while you're aware that you have a son and he needs to still be taken care of and provided for, she may not even be able to fathom that because one of them is no longer physically present. And I can't remember, I think you said last year that this took place. So it's only been a year. It's only been a year. I don't get to measure how long. I don't get to measure how long the time frame is for grieving. I don't get to say what grief looks like. It's been a year. It's been a year, and she has lost her child. So I think before the conversation of taking the other baby and, leaving her to handle this situation alone comes into place, I think maybe trying to think from the mindset of right now, She absolutely needs me. She needs our son. She needs the family, right? Because while I do understand that it was not your child and you still have things to do for your very own child, right? If she is your spouse and you love her and you care about her in these moments, you have things that you need to do for her as well. And leaving her and taking the child is not one of the things that's going to benefit or is going to suffice for her as support. There's no way for her to view that way. Right? So I think before we go to the thought process of I may have to roll and let her handle this on her own, I think you might have to lean in a little more and try to help. Number one on the list is she needs some professional help. She needs some professional help. Because at this moment, she's not even coasting in the sense that it's not like she's going to work and just living a very what's the word I could use? A very isolated life. Like it's not like she's doing something productive. She just stuck. She's just stuck. So at this point, her grief has reached a whole new level, and she needs professional help. So I think the first steps should be you really, really trying to look for her some help. Because I think trying to have the conversation about her needing help would definitely help if you have already provided some resources. Because trying to say to her you need help and then actually believing that she will make the effort to get it on her own, I don't think is realistic, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have to tell her that. She actually would go get it on her own. So I think that if you want to present to her, like, listen, your grief has really, really taken over your life, and as your spouse, and even if you're not, you're just her other son's dad, as your son's dad, I want to see you be able to be okay. Let me provide you with some resources, some places that you can go, some people that you can talk to, because I see that you are at your lowest, and because I know I can't help you, let me provide you with some people, with some folks and some resources that can. So let's start there, right? Let's start by finding some resources, some grief counseling, some bereavement counseling, so on and so forth. And after you do that, trying to present that to her. Now, she may tell you to go to hell because she may not be ready yet. She may not feel like she needs it, so on and so forth. How about another thing is connecting with her family? Because if she still has living parents and siblings and things of that nature, they have lost a family member as well. So even if they're not grieving to the magnitude that she is, they are grieving. So to some degree, they would understand what she's growing through. So they might need to step in and be able to support her and uplift her in ways that you can. So how about connecting to them? Reaching out, saying, listen, I don't have the tools. I'm not a therapist. You can lead with that, and you can say, but my main concern is for her to be okay. And even if your main concern is for her to be okay, to be a mother to your son, it's still some level of concern here. So you share, my main concern is that I want her to be okay. And because I can't help her do so, I need you guys to help get on board with helping me help her. Right? So that's another thing you can do, is connect her to her people. Because once again, even if they're not grieving and mourning as hard as she is, they are still grieving. They have also lost a family member. So pulling them in for support, I think will really, really help out a lot. Does she have siblings? Is there a best friend? Really, really looking into her village outside of you and pulling them in for the support that she needs, right? That's 2. 3 is trying to create moments and space for her to re-engage in parenting, right? So Even if it's not things that happen outside the house. Maybe you can say, hey, me and the baby are we're going to go up the block to the park. You want to come with us? How about sometimes if you guys sleep in the same bed, letting the baby sleep in the bed with you guys? Kind of slowly but surely trying to re-engage her with parenting without forcing her. Because like you said, I don't want you to technically check out of being a mom because our son needs you, but you also can't force her to get out the state that she's in because she's grieving. So gently trying to re-engage her. Gently. Hey, me and the baby are going to eat at the table downstairs. We're going to have dinner. You want to come down with us? I was thinking about going away for the weekend. Me and the baby want to go to a little theme park over here that's in so-and-so and stay at the hotel. You want to come with us? And even if she comes and she sits in a hotel room the entire time, the first step is that she came. So what I think has to happen here is I think that although you're trying to be proactive and think and forward thinking for your son, I think in the process you forgot about his mom. And I think you're forgetting about her because you're just chalking it up to, I can't help her. So I have to do what I have to do. Have you tried? Because you didn't say in the letter, like, you did list that she's not eating, she's not working, but you didn't say, like, and because of those things, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It sounds like when you saw that she stopped doing those things, you said, hey, mom, hey, sis, come over. I need y'all. Have you tried to help her? Because that's another lonely and very isolating feeling when I don't have the love and the support of the person who I assume would love and support me. And if you did, when it initially happened, that was a beautiful thing. But it's not time to give up now. Grief has no expiration date. She still needs your support. She still needs your love. So if you were giving it at one point, bring it back. If you never gave it, start doing so. But I think looking at detaching and removing is going to further break this woman. Because she is already grieving the loss of a son. You do not want her grieving the loss of 2 sons and a spouse. So although at this moment it may be very hard for you to watch this, these are the moments that she needs you. And if you love her, this is not the time for you to turn your back on her. So while I do understand totally and completely your forward thinking, I can appreciate the fact that you're trying to be proactive. I get it. But I also feel like in doing so, you kind of forgot about the person that you're supposed to love and care for. So let's step back, my dear. Let's step back, right? You already have mom and sis performing motherly duties. So that's one layer, right? Which, okay. But how about stepping back and trying to re-engage her into parenting, right? So it's like, okay, maybe the things that you relinquished and turned over to mom and sis, how about slowly but surely giving them back to her? How about helping her? So instead of saying, oh, my sister will come over and braid Junior hair for daycare that week, how about, hey, can you wash Junior hair? I'll help you. Slowly but surely trying to bring her around to the fact that although you have lost a son, you still have a son. And we all still need you and we all want to be here for you. But losing her son already made her feel away, and I don't think leaving her alone and allowing her to isolate and detach is going to make things any better. In these moments, she needs support. And if you love her, that's what you give. That's what you give. And in my opinion, you know, you try not to think about the expiration date of that. But number one on the list, you definitely want to help her get some professional help, because if this is really and truly her mental health declining, then we're dealing with a totally different situation. Right? It's not just, oh, I want you to feel better. It's no, something is really, really wrong that needs to be addressed. She could be clinically depressed. And if that is the case, let's be sure and let's be clear. So you guys can start looking at some ways to assist her in that depression so she doesn't stay there, so it doesn't progress. But I can almost guarantee, my dear, leaving and then taking the baby, absolutely not. At least not at this stage. Absolutely not. It has been a year since she's lost a child. To remove another one could break her in ways that she may never come back. Is that what you want? So I think you need to really, really step back. And once again, I don't want to make you feel a way about being, you know, proactive and a forward thinker, right? Because it sounds like you really, really, really have your child at the forefront of it all. So it's like, listen, everything that I'm doing, it got to be for the best for my kid, no matter what's going on anywhere else. And while I don't disagree with that level of thinking, you have to consider the other key players. And if nothing else, if you don't want to be with this woman romantically and it's over and so on and so forth, if nothing else, she is still his mother. And one of the sayings that I grew up hearing time and time and time and time again is the best thing that a man can do for his children is be good to their mother. Now is not the time to turn your back on her. Now is not the time to remove that child from her. She needs all the love and all the support she could get at this time, because really and truly, she more than likely feels like she's drowning with losing her son. Do you want to be the person that helps her take her last breath? Absolutely not. So like I said, my dear, let's rethink. Let's rethink the whole leaving and taking the kid, and let's rethink that, right? And let's step back and let's try to get her some professional help and provide some resources. Let's try to partner with her family to assist you in helping her to kind of get better in where she is with her grieving. You know, try to help slowly re-engage her into parenting and just try to be there. That's what people who love and care about you do. They be there for you, even in some of the most tumultuous situations. That's what she needs. Right now, I don't know if she needs a husband or she just needs people to be there for her. Because, as you said, she is struggling being there for herself. She has lost her child. So this is heavy. This is heavy. This is heavy. And, you know, it's not a game or joke. You know, losing a young person as a parent, from what I've seen, can have so many different effects on people. Like, once again, I've seen people, you know, stand up and rally and fight and protest against gun violence. And, you know, they're able to be the face and at the forefront of change because they are so adamant with where they are in their grief. Where I've seen other people say, listen, I don't even want to be around anybody. I don't want anybody talking to me. I don't even want to wake up today. And as I shared when I first opened up this Dear Deidre, I always think about how God knows who would be strong enough. Because I can imagine that it is a freaking situation that breaks you in ways that you can't even fathom how to pick up the pieces. So right now, for your son's mom, she needs all the love and support that she can get from every angle, even when she's not requesting it, even if it looks like she's not responding to it, even if she fucking says she don't want it. At that moment, that's what she's gonna need to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And slowly but surely, everything in God's time. But during that time, I think you should stick around. I think you should keep your son around. And I think if nothing else, you should love and support her. Now is not the time to walk away. And now is not the time to remove her other child from her life. If the young person is not in any physical harm, if he's not unsafe, then I think you should keep him around. But that's just my suggestion. In any event, if you're not sure still about what you want to do, come have your Healing Heart session, because I would love to hear more about this. I would love to hear more about you guys' relationship. I would love to hear more about you and her eldest son's relationship. I would love to hear about her relationship with your baby, your relationship with her family. I would love to hear more about and get some more background information about, who you guys are and what relationships you share, because then it could really, 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 really help you navigate on how to move forward. But you gotta come. You gotta come get your session. You gotta come do what you need to do, because listen, I don't want you playing the scene. Right now is not the time. But once again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just was providing you with some insight into what could possibly take place if you do. The decision is up to you. Right? In any event, ladies and gentlemen, you should have hit the thumbs up. You should have hit the thumbs up a long time ago. You should have hit the like on this video. Drop down in the comment section. Please provide me you guys feedback. What do you think? Should he go? Should he stay? This is totally up to you to share and give this young man some insight on what you think might assist him in this situation. And in any event, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys and enjoy your day.